talk about transportation needs. Just want to kind of set the stage for you a little bit because over the past 2.5 years, the Tennessee Department of Transportation has been in development of a long-range transportation plan. And with that plan, we've worked with consultants, we've worked with our planning partners, and we've worked with universities around the state to take a look at a bunch of data that we've collected and try to develop travel forecasts and transportation forecasts for the next 25 years. After we did that analysis, we developed a public involvement series called Book a Planner, where it was an interactive presentation, and we were able to kind of get people to kind of weigh in on some of those travel forecasts and everything and see where do you want the department to go to over the next 25 years. So if you participated in one of those presentations, then some of this information may be a little familiar to you, but we wanted to make sure that everyone was starting on an even playing field, knowing what we see as what's happening over the next 25 years in transportation. So we like to start off our presentations with this slide because we have a pretty robust transportation system. 95,000 miles of roadway. We have transit in all 95 counties, and we're only one of a few states that can say that we have 6 Class 1 railroads going. While we don't own and operate all of this transportation infrastructure, we do work with all the agencies that do to make sure that you can continue to enjoy this great transportation system that we have. As the commissioner said earlier, we are a pay-as-you-go state. Tennessee does not take out any debt on the state level for transportation, for DOTs to maintain and build the current infrastructure. And we're only one of 5 states in the country that operates that way. You may say, why are you doing it that way? When other states are trying to manage debt service, TDOT and Tennessee, you're able to say, hey, we don't have to manage that debt service. What we can do is we can continue delivering projects and programs and making sure that our roadways continue to be some of the top-ranked roadways in the country. We also looked at population growth. It's projected over the next 25 years, our population will grow by 2 million more people. That's great for Tennessee. That means that we're in an area where people want to live, work, play, and do all a host of other things here in Tennessee. But also, as you can imagine, 2 million more people means a greater strain on our transportation infrastructure. It means more traffic, more congestion, more demands for transportation options. So we have to take a look at that when we're trying to plan for our transportation system. We also took a look at freight. We developed a freight advisory committee, and it was made up of both public and private industry folks to take a look at freight and say, what do you see happening in freight over the next 25 years? What kind of projections are you looking at? And one of the things that we found that over the next 25 years, freight tonnage is projected to increase by 56%, and most of that freight will be moved over the roadways. We looked at economic development. My new friend right here, Melissa, she works with ECD, and ECD has done a great job attracting businesses to Tennessee as well as helping businesses expand to Tennessee. And what TDOT does in the attraction and expansion of businesses is we have a program called the State Industrial Access Program, where we look at a first mile, last mile connection and try to make that connection to help improve or provide access from industry to roadways. And so we have that program that's great. It's a great economic driver for communities. But one of the issues that we have is with all the wonderful growth that we've had, the program is currently not sustainable the way it's set up. We use state dollars to fund that program, and as the commissioner and the governor said earlier, it's the state dollars right now. We're having opportunity. We have to make opportunities to say, hey, do we need to start prioritizing these? Can we have to work with ECD to make sure that the transportation infrastructure improvements that we're trying to fund, if we need to prioritize these or not, because we can't continue to I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought right here. To continue to honor all of the commitments that we have out there. When you look at what we've done over the past, I guess 3 years, so between 2010 and 2014, TDOT has invested $101 million attracted nearly 29,000 jobs for 108 companies. Within this area alone, we've seen the small TDOT investment, we're able to leverage industry investment and deliver these types of jobs here.
So let me maybe clarify something. So when we do a deal like Volkswagen in Roane County, state actually contributes in two ways. One is a pocket of money that comes out of ECD, Economic Community Development, that are incentives to that company. TDOT plays a role in the sense of infrastructure needs that they might have. So if there needs to be some last mile connection between, changing the interstate ramp or whatever it is, that's where TDOT would play. And the point Tanisha is making that as our highway funding dollars get tighter and tighter, it also becomes more restrictive on our ability to do these kind of last mile deals to help the economic development deals happen as well.
We also looked at safety, travel trends, and technology. Safety continues to be TDOT's #1 focus, and we have over a dozen initiatives across the state that we use to try to help improve and make our roads safer. We also try to implement different types of technologies to help us realize operational efficiencies on the system, so we can move more people and more cars along the roadways without having to widen or add additional capacity. So when we looked at funding, we found that our current revenues are not keeping up with growth. So again, the way that our current system is set up for funding is not sustainable at its current rate. The Tennessee Comptroller released a report on transportation earlier this year, and they basically said, again, that transportation was not sustainable. But they said that the gas tax basically stagnated. Funding is not expected to be sufficient to maintain the current infrastructure, let alone meet long-term transportation demands. So this within itself is a very difficult thing to deal with when we're trying to develop a long-range plan, develop a fiscally constrained strategic investment program. But we don't know how much funding we're going to get, we don't know when we're going to get it, and we don't know how much we're going to get. So it's difficult when you try to add all those things together, but still be a physically constrained